Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Andrew Wild. Thanks for joining us today, and in this particular webinar we're going to be talking about the compensation plan guides. Now, I've been with Young Living or using Young Living products now for over 11 years, and during that time I've had a number of questions about the Young Living compensation plan. So I've received a number of questions and I've had a lot of questions myself. And as part of that, I've been writing down some of the answers to those questions when I get them. And what I've been doing is, over time, putting together all of that information, a bit from here and a bit from here, from there, putting it all together. And then from there, these particular guides started to get created. And so what we did with these guides is I took a little bit of what Sharon and myself put together, and then Young Living Australia, the business development team and the marketing team, got together and created these documents. So there's a real collaboration between members out there in the field and Young Living. And so that's what I'm going to be going through with you in this particular webinar. So let's go into it. So we're going to be talking about these three new compensation plan guides. So the first one is the Quick Start Guide. The second one is the Reference Guide. And the third one is the Business Building Guide. So let's have a look at these three guides. Now, before we get started, we always need to mention the income disclosure statement whenever we talk about the Young Living compensation plan. You can find the income disclosure statement in your virtual office. And one other thing I need to mention is that this is only one of many ways to build a Young Living business. There are no guarantees with any of the suggestions you will hear in this webinar. So if you haven't had a look at the income disclosure statement, make sure you check it out. It's available through your virtual office. Right, in this particular presentation today, I'm going to be going through 5 different sections with you. So the first one's pretty important, is where to find these compensation plan guides. The second is giving you an overview of the guides so you understand the framework and how they all fit together. And then I'll go through each of the guides in more detail. So we'll go through the Quick Start Guide, the Reference Guide, and then the Business Building Guide. So the first question, where are all of these compensation plan guides? Where can you find them? So let's answer that right now, because I'm sure you all have that question. So this is how you access them. Number one is you log in to your virtual office, and from your virtual office, you then click on Member Resources from the left-hand side. Number two, you click on the YL Central button that you can see there. Number three, you click on Build Your Business, and you can see what that button looks like, or that icon, that square icon there. And then number 4 is a guide to the compensation plan, that button. So that's how you get in to access all of these compensation plan guides. And I'll be reminding you about this particular slide, how to access them, at the end of each of the guides as well. So let's first have a look at an overview of the guides. So what are the guides about? When do you use each of them? And how do we use each of the different guides? So let's have a look at that first. So here I've separated the 3 guides to give you this overview to understand better how we actually use each of them. So let's start with the first one there, which is the Quick Start Guide. Now, the Quick Start Guide is fantastic for those who are new, on those who are new to sharing, that want to learn about the compensation plan and about how they get paid. So for example, a person that might ask and say something like this: I want to start sharing, what do I need to know about the compensation plan? The Quick Start Guide is perfect for them. It's where they want to start. It helps a person by just giving them the information that they need to know at each particular step along their Young Living journey. And it includes the steps at each rank all the way up to silver. So by breaking it up, it means that a person doesn't need to learn the entire compensation plan to start sharing Young Living. There's just a little bit that they need to know at the start. And that's what the Quick Start Guide does. It helps to break up the comp plan to show you what you need to know at each particular point in the journey. Now, an important thing about this particular guide and the reference guide is this point that you see I'm putting there about the format of it. The format, it says it's a PDF with clickable links. You'll understand what I mean by clickable links on the next slide. And it's designed to be used electronically on your computer. So when I say electronically, I mean that viewing it on your computer will allow you to click on the links. And I'll show you what I mean by the links shortly. Being a PDF file means you can actually download it and save it onto your local computer. So it's easy to download, it's easy to save, and it's easy to actually then email that PDF to a person if you needed to do that as well. So that's the Quick Start Guide. Now let's have a look at the reference guide, have an overview of that. So the reference guide is exactly what it sounds like. It's a reference guide that covers basically every single component that I can possibly think of in the compensation plan, and allows you to quickly see all of that and then click on what you want to learn more about. And the format of this, again, is a PDF format with clickable links. Again, you'll find out what they are in a moment. And it's designed to be used electronically so that you can click on those particular blue underlined links to learn about that particular component of the compensation plan. Because it is an electronic PDF, again, it's very easy to download and save on your computer, and also then to email it to someone else. So those first two guides, the Quick Start Guide and the Reference Guide, are designed to be used electronically. The third one, the Business Building Guide. What is this? This is a series of tables that contain information about the Young Living ranks, the commissions and bonuses. Now this has been designed for you to print off. So I've got my printed versions here, and it's designed for you to print those off and to have them with you whenever you're learning about the compensation plan, because it helps to give you an overview of how all of those components fit together and gives you a point of reference to be able to see, oh, okay, that's that particular bonus, and here's the summary of the info about it. So it's a fantastic resource for you to use, but it has been designed to be used more of a printed resource, and that's how I use it. You don't have to use it that way, but I find it's much easier to have it in front of me when I'm learning about the compensation plan, because it's giving you that bigger picture. It's also a PDF file, which means you can actually email it as well, but it's specifically designed to be printed and used in that particular way. So that's an overview, and it gives you a bit of a foundation for how these particular three guides all fit together and when it might be relevant to use each one of them. Now, I mentioned that I was going to show you what I mean by these blue clickable links. So in those first two guides, the ones that are designed to be used electronically, you'll see throughout them there's these blue underlined text all over the place. They're actually links that you can click on, and you can click on those links and it will actually launch you onto a page which explains that particular thing that you clicked on, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. So just be aware that whenever you see a blue underlined link, you can click on it to learn more about that. So you'll see things like PV might be underlined, or OGV, or silver, or whatever it might be. If it's underlined in blue, just know you can click on it to learn more about that. So I'll show you what that is going to look like now. So when you actually click on one of those links, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to bring up a page in your browser, and on the top left-hand corner of that will actually be like a little video with a picture of the speaker, and that's actually an audio. Now that audio is me speaking about what you're seeing on the screen and explaining what that component of the comp plan is that you clicked on and wanted to learn more about. That audio should, on most people's computers, it'll automatically play once that page is fully loaded up. If for some reason it doesn't play, then you know you can click on the play button to listen to that audio, or once it's finished, you can click on it again to listen to it again. So that is what's going to happen and what's going to come up when you click on one of those blue underlined links. So that's the overview of the three guides. So let's now jump in and have a look at the first guide, which is the Compensation Plan Quick Start Guide. So what is the Comp Plan Quick Start Guide? Well, it's a 3-page guide that breaks down the compensation plan into components that detail what you need to know at a particular point along your Young Living journey. In order to do that, to make the compensation plan easier to learn so that you don't think you have to learn the whole thing at once, because you don't. So it's broken up into these types, or into these specific sections, and we'll have a look at a few of these sections in detail so you can get an idea of what is in them. So the sections that it's broken up into are these. I'm brand new, what do I need to know? And then number 2 there's I've enrolled my first member. I've just hit the rank of star, I'm now a senior star, I'm now an executive, I'm now a silver. So they're the specific sections which are within the Quick Start Guide. Now, hopefully those first 2 are really self-explanatory, but we're gonna have a look at what you can expect to see in those particular sections. Okay, so let's have a look and jump straight into this particular section, which is the I'm brand new, what do I need to know? This is designed for the person who has just started out and wants to start sharing. What do they need to know about the comp plan right now? They don't need to know everything. They do need to know some things. And I remember when I first started that there were all of these terminologies and abbreviations like PV and OGV and legs and ranks and all these sorts of things. And I was like, PGV, OGV, PV, what does all this stuff mean? So when we're starting out, we're actually bombarded with a lot of these terms which we've got no idea about. And so this particular section helps to let the people know what are those really important terms they need to know about right from the very first start of their journey. So you can see up there it starts off talking about PV, because we need to understand PV initially. And if you have a look at that first paragraph, I'll just read out that first paragraph. It says, when you look at the Young Living price list, you'll notice that each product has a dollar value and a PV, in brackets, personal volume amount. It's the PV of a product that is used to calculate commissions and ranks. Now, in that first paragraph, you'll see that personal volume is blue and underlined. That means you can click on that to learn more about PV. And that goes for any of those progressive paragraphs. It talks there about when you enroll a member with a PSK, how much you approximately earn in Australian and New Zealand dollars. And it has a link there for the enroller bonuses videos to see which bonuses that all comes from. So if a person just wants to know, well, what am I going to earn? Boom, it tells them straight away there. But if they want to know the details of it, they can learn that too by clicking on the link to watch that enroller bonuses video. Talks about retail customers and wholesale members. And to become a wholesale member, you need to purchase a starter kit. So again, retail customer, wholesale member, starter kits, all these things are linked. You can click on them to learn more about those specific components. Talks about enrollers and sponsor and so on. So I won't go in and read all that. You'll be able to do that in your own time. 50 PV, 100 PV, all with links to learn more about that, so that they can understand the detail of it. If they're like a bit of a green personality and want to know all of those specific details, they can do that with this as well. If they just want to know the brief, what they need to know, it's all there for them. So that's that first section about they're brand new, what do I need to know? So the idea with this particular section is that with these few paragraphs, a person knows just the basics of what they need to know in order to enable them to start sharing without them having to be overwhelmed with all of the different components of the comp plan. All right, so let's have a look at the second component of the Quick Start Guide. The second paragraph section here is, I've enrolled my first member. Congratulations if you've enrolled your first member. Well, when you enroll your first member, there's extra information that you can find out about that you need to know about. Like, well, how do I actually receive my commissions, for example? That is covered in this particular section. So it's specific for those who have just enrolled their first member and covers some of the basics of what they then need to know at that particular point in their journey. So it talks about how you can receive commission into your bank account or creditor's account and things like that. And also it looks at the differences between the Australian environment and the New Zealand environment as well. So I've enrolled my first member. That's what that particular section is all about. From there, what happens is it breaks it up based on a rank. So you've enrolled your first member, you've read that, and then when you enroll a few members, eventually you're going to reach the rank of star. So this section is all about you've reached the rank of star, and then it's going to give you a few more things that you might like to learn about now that you're at the rank of star. And the rest of the sections from there on out looks at senior star, executive, and silver. Now, you're more than welcome to look ahead from where you are and learn more, but it really just helps to clarify for you what you need to know at different particular points along your journey. I'm going to be speaking later about some of the other components of the comp plan as well, like generation commission. But if you have a look, and I'm just having a look right now, you'll see that it says, it talks about generation commission more when you get up into being executive in silver. So, if you don't understand generation commission, that's okay. It's more for when you're progressing along in your Young Living journey and you start to get to those particular ranks. So that's why it's important that when a person starts their Young Living journey, we don't overwhelm them with everything about the compensation plan, because that is just too overwhelming for everyone and it can be way too much information for people. So this quick start guide is all about breaking it down and helping guide a person as to what they need to know about the comp plan along their Young Living journey. Okay, where do you access it from? I mentioned this right at the start, but I'm going to mention it after every single guide. You log into your virtual office and you click on Member Resources. Number 2, you click on the YL Central icon, and then you click on Build Your Business and then a guide to the compensation plan. So that's how you can get access to the Quick Start Guide. Let's now progress on to the second guide that we're talking about today, and that is the Compensation Plan Reference Guide. So what is the Compensation Plan Reference Guide? Well, it's a 4-page comprehensive A to Z style reference that tries to cover every single component, every single nook and cranny of the Young Living Compensation Plan. So this particular guide is quite in-depth, and again, it's full of these links. So you can go and find the part of the compensation plan that you want to learn about, that you want to understand better, and then click on that link and learn about just that component of the compensation plan. So it's a reference, so you use it to go back to and say, okay, I want to learn about that, and you click on that and learn about that. So who is it for? Who is it not for? Well, this isn't really something for the new member. If you give this to a brand new member that just started sharing or that hasn't even started sharing yet, they're going to look at that and go, whoa, this is way too much information. What am I supposed to learn? Don't give it to the new member. That's what the Quick Start Guide is for the new members, so that we don't overwhelm them. The reference guide is exactly that. It's a reference that you can go back to at any stage and find out what you want to learn about the comp plan. There's a term you don't know, or you want to learn about generation commission, one of my favorites, then you can go and look that up, click on that, and learn about that particular component of the compensation plan. Okay, so now we're going to have a little look at what's actually in the reference guide. So it's broken up into these particular sections: understanding the terminology, Young Living ranks, getting paid, qualifying for commissions and bonuses, and some enroller bonus examples. So we'll just briefly have a look at that. Now, you might not be able to read all these things on the screen. Don't worry, because you can get in there and access the PDF to have a look at all of this yourself. But you'll notice in here that virtually everything has a blue underlined link on it. That means you can click on it and it will launch open and it will explain that particular component of the compensation plan. So here we've got the section on terminology. So lots of different abbreviations and terminology there, all covered there. Then we have a section on the Young Living ranks. Now, in this particular section, you'll see the ranks listed there. You can actually click on those. So where it says Senior Star and it has the 2 greater than symbols, that means you can actually click on that. So that's then me just explaining the what you need to do to qualify for that particular rank. So that's the Young Living rank section. The Getting Paid section, all about if for those of you who have more of a green personality and want to know the details about how you get paid in Australian dollars or New Zealand dollars and these things like peg rates and things like that, that's where you'll find all of that information in the Getting Paid section. Then you have the qualifying for commissions and bonuses, and you can see the sorts of information that you'll see in there, like PV. 50 PV qualification versus 100 PV qualification and things like that. And then commissions and bonuses. This is broken up into 2 parts because there's a lot on covering all of the commissions and bonuses. So we start off there with things like retail customer earnings, starter kit bonus, and the fast start bonus. And then on the next page, we have all of the other things like the ER bonus, rising star team bonus, uni level commissions, generation commission, generation leadership bonus, and the Diamond Express leadership bonus. So that all of that is in 4 actual pages, in the PDF file, and they're the sections and how it's broken up. So you can see there's a lot of information in there, and each one of those blue underlined links is clickable, so you can learn more about it. So how do you get access to the reference guide? Again, you log into your virtual office, click on Member Resources from that left-hand navigation bar, click on YL Central button, the Build Your Business button, and then a Guide to the Compensation Plan button. Okay, so let's move on to our 3rd guide that we're talking about today, which is the Business Building Guide. Now, this is the one that I mentioned I always have with me printed out. That's how this one's been designed to be used, is printed out and have it with you whenever you're learning about the compensation plan. These tables show you how all of the ranks, bonuses and commissions all sort of fit together into a nice summary, into these summary tables. So let's have a look at them in more detail. So there's 2 core pages to this, and you can see them on the screen, and we're going to look in more detail at these 2 core pages. So let's now jump in and have a look at these so you can understand these a little bit better. All right, what is this one for? Helping you to have a clearer understanding of the comp plan. Make sure you print it out. You will see that some of the information is represented in multiple tables. It's the same info, but presented in a different way. That's on purpose, is because when I was trying to explain the comp plan to other people, one table was more relevant than the other table. So if I was in the other table, I wanted them to see the extra information and not have to refer to the table that's over here. So that's why you'll see duplicate info in multiple tables, because it's represented in slightly different ways, and the way that people learn and understand can be slightly different. They'll resonate with one and they might not resonate with the other. Okay, so remember, print this out. So let's have a look at the first particular table. It's got the heading Young Living Compensation Plan. So let's have a look at this in a bit more detail so that I can explain some of the components in this particular table to you. So the first thing I want to draw your attention to is this, and that is that in the top of the top headings here, where it's grey, it says distributor. And that's been broken up into 50 PV distributor, and next to it, 100 PV distributor. And the reason for that is because this is such a common question I get. Andrew, what commissions am I going to earn if I make a 50 PV order? What commissions am I going to earn if I'm going to do a 100 PV order? Do I need to earn or make a 100 PV order to earn commissions? Really common questions. This table answers all that for you. And that's why we split it up into 50 PV and 100 PV, because yes, you do qualify for specific bonuses when you have a 50 PV order. And you can see in this table, all the ticks in that 50 PV column show you exactly what bonuses you qualify for when you place a 50 PV order. The 100 PV column, that's what you qualify for when you place a 100 PV order. So with this table, that helps to answer those questions really easily. Just look at the ticks. Okay, on the left-hand side of these particular commissions and bonuses is another column. The column on the left has E at the top of it and S at the top of it. E means that particular commission or bonus is paid to the enroller. S means that particular commission or bonus is paid to the sponsor. So again, this helps to give you an instantly know what particular commissions and bonuses are paid to the enroller and what ones are paid to the sponsor. Just have a look at which which column is ticked for that particular bonus or commission. So that's what the E and the S mean in that one. Okay, really common question, get all the time. Do I need to be on Essential Rewards to earn commission? Well, to answer that, it's actually a little bit more complicated than just a yes or no answer. But this table shows you exactly what the right answer is. I've highlighted here a particular bonus called the Rising Star bonus. I'm going to zoom up on that so you can see what I'm talking about here. So let me zoom up on that. You'll see that for this particular bonus, I've highlighted the back of it in a different color and it's got ER underneath the tick. This is the only bonus or commission that requires you to be on Essential Rewards in order to be able to qualify for. It's the Rising Star bonus. And on this table, I've tried to make that really obvious by having that background color and the initials ER underneath the tick. So whenever you get the question, or if you've had this question before, the answer is right here on this table. So you can refer people to the table because the answer isn't just a yes or a no. It's yes if you want to be eligible to receive the Rising Star bonus, but no to all of the other commissions and bonuses. And you can see that clearly on this particular table. So that's why we structured the tick and the ER and the background colors in that particular way. Okay, now on the second sheet of these, it's called, well, it has the heading YL Ranks. So we're going to have a look at this sheet in a bit more detail now. All right, so this sheet called Young Living Ranks, it gives you the four main components that you need to qualify in order to achieve that particular rank. So you can see there, star, it says in the PV column, 100 PV, and in the OGV column, 500. So it's listing exactly the requirements you need in order to achieve a particular Young Living rank. Now, I want to draw your attention to this particular column. You'll notice that all of the ranks require a 100 PV order. So what that means is if you wish to qualify for any of the Young Living ranks, you must have a 100 PV order in the month in order to qualify as that particular rank. That's an important differentiation to understand compared to earning commissions. Because you saw in the previous table that there were various bonuses that you could qualify for with just a 50 PV order. And you can earn those bonuses with just a 50 PV order. But if you want to be able to qualify for any of the Young Living ranks, you do have to have a 100 PV order in the month to be able to qualify at that rank. And that's hopefully really obvious with that very first column that you see here that says PV star 100 PV. In all of them it says 100 PV. So I just wanted to draw your attention to that, and I want you to have a clear understanding of the differences between qualifying for a rank, which is what this table's all about, and the previous table that you saw, which is all about the commissions and bonuses that you can earn with the comp plan. Okay, now let's have a look at another one of the tables. The heading at the top of this table is Young Living Commission. So let's have a look in a bit more detail about what all the information that's in this particular table. So in the first column, it has the average annualized income, which comes from the Young Living Income Disclosure Statement. The next column is just the two basics of the rank qualifications, the OGV and the leg requirements. Now, as you know, there's more requirements, as you saw in the previous sheet, for reaching that particular rank, but we've got them listed here as a bit of a summary for the two main components of it. Next to that then is all about the uni-level commission. Now, I'm going to zoom up on this just so I can bring your attention to something here. So you'll see here that as a 100 PV distributor, if you have a look in the uni-level commissions column, you'll see it says L1 and then L2, and it has values in those two fields. It has 8% under L1 and 5% under L2. So immediately looking at this, this tells you that as a 100 PV distributor, I can earn 8% on level 1, I earn 5% on level 2, but I don't earn anything else after that until I reach the rank of star, which is below that. And you can see L3, which means uni level 3, that I earn 4% on. So you can see here how that progresses all the way up to executive, which then gets my maximum of 5 uni levels of commission that you can earn. If you don't know what I'm talking about with uni level commission, don't worry. Have a look in the reference guide, go to the uni level commission section, click on that, and I'll explain that all to you in that particular video. So this here just gives you really quickly, you can have a look at this and you can see exactly the uni level commission at each particular rank that you can qualify for. All right, now this is one of my favorite commissions. When I learned about generation commission, when I was learning about the comp plan, it really opened my mind because I could then see, I could visualize, I could understand how, you know, sharing Young Living and this generation commission could actually be a business, could actually be something which could, you know, I could understand then from this how it could be a business and you could actually earn some good money from it in the long term, like in 10 years' time, thanks to this generation commission. It's fantastic. Now with generation commission, you can see there that it starts at the rank of silver or above. Now, if you're not familiar with what a generation is, write this down, these 4 words, so that when someone asks you, what's a generation? You can answer really simply with these 4 words. That's silver or above leader. Those 4 words, write them down, memorize them. You need to know what a generation is. And the reason that you need to know that is because once you know that a generation is a silver or above leader, then you'll then have a better grasp of generation commission and leadership bonus. Go and watch my videos on the generation commission and generation leadership bonus if you want to learn about that. But you need to understand what it is. So I've got a question for you. If you're silver, if you achieve the silver rank, are you a generation? What's a generation? A silver or above leader. The answer to that is yes. You're a generation once you achieve the rank of silver. You're actually what's called generation number 1, which is also called your personal generation. So you see in G1, that's actually you. Go and have a look at my training on generation commission and generation bonuses if you want to learn more about that. If you're brand new, don't worry about it. Learn about all the other stuff first. Okay, so just wanted to bring that up about generations. It's an amazing commission for over the long term. Okay, also on this particular table, it has the leadership ranks. So Young Living class the rank of silver and above as a leadership rank. And you can see that indicated by the vertical text that encompasses the silver and above ranks there. So it mentions that they're the leadership ranks. So all of that there is all of what you can see on this particular table. Again, designed to be printed out and to have with you whenever you're learning about or teaching the compensation plan. How do you find the business building guide? Through your virtual office. Click on Member Resources, YL Central, build your business, and then number 4 is the guide, a guide to the compensation plan button. So that's how you access all of the guides that we've talked about here today. All right, so in summary, right back to where we started, the summary of these 3 guides that we've talked about. Quick Start Guide, fantastic for anyone new to Young Living, and it helps to guide you as to what you need to know about the compensation plan as you progress along your Young Living journey. The second one was the reference guide, 101 things about that you ever wanted to know and what you probably didn't want to know about the Young Living compensation plan is in the reference guide. All links that you can click on to learn about that particular component of the Young Living compensation plan. Both of those two guides designed to be used electronically because they have links on them to click on to go and learn more about that particular component of the compensation plan. And then the third one, the business building guides, are these tables that are designed to be printed out for you to have with you whenever you're learning about the compensation plan or whenever you're teaching the compensation plan. You want to have a printout of these with you so you can always refer back to them and see how whatever it is you're learning about, how that looks in the overall picture of the Young Living compensation plan, commissions, bonuses, and the ranks. Okay. Those are the three guides. So I hope that they're going to help you on your Young Living journey to better understand the Young Living compensation plan. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you later.